All right, my name is Gabriel. I'm part of Slingshot's design department. Together with a team, we've been working here on this Proto Craft, which is our first dedicated SUP foil offering. It's one size right now, 95 liter, 7.6 by 18. And it's aimed at that intermediate to advanced SUP foiler. So you've started on your 115 liter board and you're ready to progress. So this is the board you came to. So our design goals starting into this project were pretty straightforward. It was, how can we get riders on a slightly smaller volume without losing that ability to pop up as easily as possible. So we really talked about, okay, what makes a board easy to pop up, and the criteria that we came up with was the transition from standing still, getting on your board, the stability there, moving into kind of that 2-3 knot displacement mode, or you're just in the water, transitioning to planing, and then the takeoff. So taking what we thought was important of each of those characteristics, we came out with a board that has very little rocker, so very flat, a round nose at the front that will help you in that displacement mode, kind of split the water, and then it goes into a very straightforward chine design, which has the goal of releasing as cleanly as possible on the back of the board. So the low rocker really helps keep that water line quite long without having the board, be unwieldy and 8 feet long, and helps it track and get that low speed going. When you're planing, the board effectively shortens by riding off the chines, just riding on the flat and on the back 2/3 of the board. And for takeoff, we have the bottom going into a pintail, which allows you to sink the tail if you need, or at least pivot off the back and get up on foil. We tried to kind of take each phase of the foiling takeoff into account. So we have quite a rounded nose here with slightly softer rails, which when you're in that displacement mode, just getting on the board and starting to get some momentum should allow you to keep the nose out of the water, keep from curling, and additionally not have the board feel too locked out. So as you're getting your balance at low speeds, allows you to turn a little bit and stay flat on the board. As you pick up a little speed and the nose starts to come out of the water, you get to some flatter bottom with some very simple straight chines, efficient planing surfaces. We tried to keep it as simple and streamlined as possible, redirect the water as little as we need. And then you get to your third phase, which is your takeoff phase. So you are really kind of riding on the back of the board. And one of the challenges of having this little rocker was, okay, we're getting a very long water line that's efficient for that displacement and that planing, but when you take off, how do you achieve that? So what we decided on was pulling the tail into more of a pin and taking some volume out of it. So when you go to sink it, you can change that angle on the foil and really go to take off. One thing I'm pretty excited about is our graphics team outdid themselves on this one. We tried to layer different airbrushing layers while keeping a surface finish that we think is pretty efficient on takeoff. So I really like kind of the three-dimensional component of the paint job and all the fades. That's more of a personal fun component of the board. To make sure we didn't go crazy with the weight, we worked on a new construction technique where we kept it as stiff as possible under your feet, between your feet and the foil, and then shed any unnecessary weight near the front of the board and the back of the board, where you really don't need it, and all you need is that little bit of flotation. So it allows you to ride, swing the nose around as much as you want, and make it playful while you're foiling. Center of the board and back 2/3 have chines that don't curve very much. We tried to keep the lines as straight and simple as possible towards the back, which allow the water to not redirect and hopefully be disturbed as little as possible and get you foiling as quickly as you can. So as we transition from the rounded displacement hull in the front, we get some pretty straight chines here that have a constant angle all the way through the back to really make sure that there's as little inefficiencies in the transition from the displacement area into the planing mode. And then again, when you're planing, when you're gonna go take off with the back of the board. One of the challenges was, you know, having this little rocker in a board. How do you make the nose not stick, or the nose, how do you make the tail easy to release and keep the nose from purling too much? So we did that through volume distribution, of course, making sure that there was enough under your feet to keep you going, but also enough under the nose to keep it from diving in the bigger waves. And on the tail, making sure that the position of the foil relative to the tail and the volume around the tail really allows you to sink it down if you need to get going. Oh, the other super fun thing is the really intense concave on the back foot. So it kind of gives you a gas pedal on your toes, so you can turn as much as you would need. Yeah, the deck is a little recessed all the way down, so you're as close to the foil as you can, and like I was saying, a little less volume under your feet, more in the front and back. So where other boards you have the volume under your feet, we moved a fair bit of it forward, which allowed us to have less rocker, a thicker nose, and hopefully get you kind of shooting down the face of the wave with a long water line before you get planing, so keep it as easy as possible.